Holy cow, it's calm today. Look at that. That is insane.
You can see the bottom perfectly.
I know. The bottom. So everything's damp because we had dew. We haven't had dew in a really long time. Not gonna think we're having a lot of sailing today. We are sailing from Current Cut Anchorage east, kind of southeast, to Rock Sound today. Going through Current Cut this morning. There's a lot of drama online about how crazy it can be.
I am like shaking. We are down to 2 knots, 2.8 right now, and I've picked the engines up and I am fighting it. This is ridiculous.
We're hoping it's a complete non-event. And given there's no wind, I think it is going to make it even easier. Let's get this done.
Here's an anchor chain. So now our chain goes backwards now because we've gone forward with the boat. You can see it on the bottom. It zips off over that direction.
Okay.
There we go.
Done.
Done. Quick, before we drift on the rocks. How deep is the water?
7 feet.
So 12. 12 feet deep. 12 feet deep, and you can see everything. Haven't seen any fish though. They're actually there. The smaller ones are. When you go down with your dive mask, you can see them swim by, but nothing very big. Sun's coming up.
Current Cut can have currents exceeding 6 knots, and it is recommended that you transit it at slack tide. The challenge is figuring out what tide table to base your calculations on.
Well, it looks really calm. People say it looks like a river running when it's going high. There's not much happening in there. We're waiting until that half hour-ish mark just to make sure that we're all good. But it looks, look at it, Derek, it's super calm.
Okay.
So hopefully this is gonna be awesome. I know, it's gonna be totally great.
How much time do we have left before we need to go?
Like 10 minutes?
After talking to our friends on SV Cadence and reading plenty of advice online, we chose to time this at 2 hours after Nassau's high or low tide. We picked the morning tide, and it appears that we've made a good decision.
It's kind of like glass out here.
What's your depth?
30 feet?
Crab pots? That's awesome.
Getting the tide right seems to have made all the difference. We don't have much, if any, current either direction, and we're happy to report that for us, Current Cut has been an easy transit.
37, so that's what, 43?
42.
As you exit the cut on the east side, there are sandbars lining a narrow, shallow channel. We found Navionics sonar charts to be accurate and didn't have any trouble with our 5.5-foot draft.
I had to put on my hat to help me see with the sun right here, because I'm supposed to be looking here for sandbars. It's like 26 feet deep, guys. Look at that. Look how clear that water is. Hey, some of you all have been wanting to get an update on my tan. I'm working on it. I got the extra, you know, woo, out. Get rid of some of those tan lines. Too much! Too much! Not that! Not that! And our wind is at 0. All this should have waves. It's like perfectly smooth. The whole things are hot.
And I put up some sunshade. Without the wind, it's quite warm. It's seriously beautiful though. You enjoying that icy water? Oh, that's your soda, huh? Your last one?
Last Dr. Pepper. That was it. It is now gone. Are we there yet?
No, 2 more hours, but we're coming up on the Kemps Shoal, so we have to be on our game.
Diligent.
It's too close. The sun is very, very warm.
We've gone pretty much this whole flippin' day with no wind. We were supposed to have 6 to 12 knots of wind. We have had 2 to 4, often 0.
Only what we're making.
Yeah, we're going forward 4.5 knots. And what do we have? 1.6 knots of apparent wind. So we're not even creating that. We must have a couple 3 knots coming from behind us that negates all of that. No, coming from behind us, so 1.6, I don't remember. It is coming from the beam though. 1.6 it says. So that means it's got to be coming from a little bit behind us. And it's not much. Not much. But we're getting there. A couple hours left. We had a fish on for a good 15 seconds and then it snapped my line.
That's because he's too cheap to replace the line on the poles. He has more line, he just hasn't done it.
Is it too cheap? I just haven't had time. I'm too lazy. I actually don't know if it was the fault of the line or if it was just too big of a fish. I don't know. Maybe it bit through the leader line. I don't know. I probably didn't, because I think that lure had a wire leader to a swivel. And when I reeled in the line, all I had was line. I had no swivel, no leader, nothing. So somewhere there's a big fish running around with my lure and a metal leader hanging out of its mouth.
So tell him he needs to replace the line on both poles, because this is the second time this has happened on different poles.
Now the other pole was just a little kid's 5-pound test lake fishing pole. It's not even designed for this kind of fish. So it's just running a little spinner to see if anything else would pick it up. I don't know. I just figured I'd get 2 lines out.
Okay, we got here at like 6, almost. By the time we got anchor down and dived on it, it was 7. Made pizza. We did that. 8. Now we're ready for bed. So we will explore the area Rock Sound in Eleuthera. We'll start exploring tomorrow.